This is a historic time. Make sure that you are fully present because we are witnessing BBMA, Grammy, and other award-giving bodies in the US drive themselves to irrelevance. Billboard Music Awards promised a reimagined award show concept that would entertain fans with music and exclusive content from several unique locations worldwide. But when the 2023 BBMAs actually took place last week via Billboard's website and social media handles, Billboard simply published pre-recorded supposedly live performances of nominated artists. Their website kept on crashing, online links landed on last year's content, social media posts provided not even a clue, not even a distant clue on what to wait for. It was as if they didn't really want people to watch the award show. It felt like they did the show only because they had to, not because they wanted to. Billboard said they were going digital amidst touring artists and changing climate, but you would think that for one of the three biggest music award shows in the US and one of the most awaited worldwide, artists will show up for a once-in-a-year musical event watched around the world. But that's the main problem. For years, fewer and fewer people watched. And instead of evolving to elevate their show and fill a market need and desire that no one is providing, Billboard is just really allowing itself to self-destruct. Billboard and Grammy. I guess it's by their own inability to evolve to keep their position in the midst of changing musical or artistic consumption behavior. What is supposedly the most credible measure of musical trends in the US at the very least has really allowed itself to be controlled by bot-dominated social media trends and by the fear of losing their grasp over mainstream music, global mainstream music dominance. Billboard Music Awards, Grammy, they used to be that one night where you actually witness new musical grounds being broken and musical revolutions being started, or at the very least, that's when we're supposed to witness great and beautifully unique musical performances. Instead, all they are now is a sad attempt at salvaging what is left of their credibility or relevance, and they are desperate, and it's really sad to watch. But the question is that how did Billboard actually get here? How did Billboard and Grammy manage to slowly lose relevance? That's what we're going to try and answer. If you end up liking this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe and hit that notification button so that you know when there's a new video getting published. And of course, please share the video if you can, because that's really helping my channel. Thank you. Let's go back to the video. People are interested in music, but they are not interested in BBMAs, Grammy, and others. Shows like this actually get shopped around different TV stations here. In recent years, BBMAs bounced around NBC, Fox, ABC. They and other award shows, including Grammys and Oscar, have been experiencing year-on-year ratings decline even before the pandemic. This is not consistent with the growth of the music industry. The annual global music industry revenue has been steadily growing from 2021. The music industry grew 22.9%. The number of Americans with paid streaming subscriptions has actually increased from 7.9 million in 2014 to 82.2 million in 2022. And while revenue by physical sales over time has decreased, revenue from streaming has increased. It now accounts for 65% of the global recorded music industry revenue. The conclusion is clear. People are interested in music more than ever. They're simply not interested in Billboard Music Awards, Grammys, and others. It's TikTok's fault. Has social media ruined people's attention span? TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter are often blamed for ruining people's attention span. They don't have the patience to sit through a 3-hour show for a 4-minute performance of their favorite group or artist, or watch seemingly thousands of artists get their awards just as so they could wait for the result of that one category their favorite artist is nominated in. Actually, that's only half the truth. People don't have the patience to sit through a 3-hour show of artists they don't like. They certainly don't have the patience to sit through a 3-hour show of lip sync performances of artists who are better at taking off their clothes, cursing, glamorizing crime, and vile acts than in actual singing and dancing. They can get that from Pornhub. They watch shows like Billboard Music Awards because they want to see high quality musical performances. And they're not getting that. Remember that fans of the most successful artists camp out for days just for a chance to see their favorite artists walk by. They can sit outside for days, through the rain, through the sunshine, just so they could make sure they will be able to buy their favorite artist's merch. Yes, people have been spoiled with access to millions of creators giving away their content for free. And that is good for the arts. That is the bar that award shows must compete with. They need to outdo the creativity of millions of people who don't need millions of dollars to create beautiful music and creative performances. Sure, outdoing these people must be difficult, but surely not impossible, especially not for an organization who has access to millions of dollars, the best artists in the business, global connection, and 100 years of experience. Live shows are not dead. Mediocre live shows are. One of the, if not the best performances Billboard Music Awards has ever delivered is Whitney Houston's 2014 performance of I Have Nothing. There were no spectacle. It was just her singing live with all the emotions and her beautiful voice. But somebody like Whitney comes only once. So I'm not really expecting another Whitney Houston to come, but I am expecting somebody talented at the very least. But I guess even that is too much to ask because it's very rare that BBMAs or Grammys or other award shows actually manage to produce something groundbreaking, or at the very least, something memorable. In the absence of creativity and talent, they have turned to spectacle. Now, I'd wager that there is nothing fundamentally wrong with that. Not every performance could be groundbreaking. Some can simply be grand or well executed.
The problem is that they can't even hack a good performance, let alone a great performance. So I think that they resorted to controversies. They put in performances that are designed to rile people up, to challenge people's faith, religion, values, principles. And it's really sad because art is supposed to be that one thing that could unite us all. Instead, they simply wanted to use it to trend on social media, to hit the headlines, to get the ratings. And they are really gravely missing the point. They should realize that these artists that are garnering such devotion from fans, they start with substance more than before the controversy. And the 2023 BBMAs was actually really a good chance for them to design such great performances because they did not have the limitation of a live performance, but instead they resorted to old tricks. And quite honestly, if you put the performances of many of these award shows, Grammy, BBMAs, side-by-side performances in Latin countries' music award shows or Korean award shows or other Asian countries, BBMAs and Grammys are going to start looking like a preschool recital. It's really sad.
Fandom baiting. Billboard continues to claim that they track and recognize music trends in the US, and yet they have created categories based on race, specifically Latin and K-pop, to segment different music that are in mainstream US. The US has always prided itself for being a melting pot of different cultures, languages, and races. And yet they feel the need to segment genres based on race. I think it's pretty obvious what they are doing. They're trying to enjoy the support of Latin and K-pop fans without giving the Latin and K-pop artists their rightful recognition. Okay, I do admit that Latin and K-pop artists garner an incredible amount of devotion from fans that it could actually overshadow Western artists, but I don't think discriminating against Latin music and K-pop music is the right solution. They should drive the Western music industry to strategize their business and their music better, to catch up, to evolve. Losing their credibility, Billboard choosing not to disclose how they compute their chart may have been acceptable before, but in the age of open source coding, blockchain technology, and authenticity, Billboard seems to be stuck in the 60s. They have manipulated the charts way too much, implementing changes in the middle of the chart week and targeting artists, most often K-pop artists, in order to diminish their dominance. They have also accounted for radio disproportionately, allowing radio executives and labels to exercise influence over the chart. They have limited how many streams they will count from a single streaming account. They have limited the physical purchase of albums and downloads to one per account. Yet, radio station spins have no limit. All radio stations, regardless of the size of their listeners, also have equal weight. It doesn't make sense that the fans, who are supposed to be the end consumer of the music, it's their voice that's getting diminished. On the other hand, men in suits still enjoy the greatest amount of influence. Grammy dilemma, biases. While Billboard supposedly relies on sales, streams, and radio spins, Grammy relies on voting to decide nominations and winners, just like the Oscars. You have to be a member of the Academy to vote, and membership is purely by invitation only. While that process actually guarantees that voters have some amount of knowledge and actual experience in making music, it does not guarantee objectivity. Many of the voters have their own interests, and those interests affect who they vote for. And that is what has been happening. Many of the winners don't deserve to win, and many of those who deserve to win don't even get nominated. Just listen to some of the nominated songs, and you will realize there isn't even an ounce of technical excellence, let alone artistic merit. It's a cliquish industry. To get into the clique, there is a lot of compromises to be made. And most of the time, it's the kind of compromise that challenges your basic values.
We really need to go back to the basics if we are to salvage what is left of BBMA or Grammys. The music and movie industry here have really stopped being about the music and movies. It's really disappointing. There's way too many interests outside of music and movies that it has really stunted the growth of the music industry and the movie industry. And it really shows with how many of these Hollywood movies are tanking and with how the Western music industry has been outpaced in terms of growth by Latin music and K-pop music. K-pop and Latin music have really been growing and they are vibrant, that if you actually put the BBMAs and other award shows in the US side by side, Latin pop award shows and K-pop award shows, Western award shows are going to look like preschool recital. I'm not even kidding. This is not to say that all performances are bad, and I'm certainly not saying that all artists who got an award did not deserve it. I'm simply saying that there are more artists that actually deserve to get an award but didn't get an award, and there are more bad performances than there are good ones, and that is going to cause the downfall of these award shows. So, but it's not too late. I do think that there are things that they can still do. I think number one, Billboard, Grammy, and VMAs need to decide what they actually want to become. If they truly want to reflect the sentiments and the trends of you as listeners, then they need to stop segmenting the genres based on race. If Latin music and K-pop music are dominating, then it should inspire and they should help Western music push forward. Use it as an inspiration instead of a limitation. For Billboard, I do think that they need to seriously consider transparency. If you want to be trusted, then you have to be transparent. They have to stop chart manipulation. If you want to control the influence of fans, which is really weird for me because they are the end consumers, but if you want to control their influence over the chart, then you need to do the same for radio. You need to, number one, limit the number of spins that you will count. And radio shows need to be transparent in how they take in requests from listeners and how they actually decide which songs to play. And of course, they need to be required to play new songs to give new artists a chance, right? I mean, if we're at the age of authenticity, they need to be authentic. We are at the age of transparency, so they need to be transparent. And they also need to re-examine how they choose their nominees in their awards and how they choose the winners. This industry is littered with so many interests outside of music and movies, as I've mentioned. So if you can't do away with the people, then they need to do away with the system. Also, they need to make some damn effort to make something different. They, present a new collaboration, a better stage. It's just, give me something decent. I mean, not even great, but at least something decent. Remix the song. But if you give to me the same type of performance over and over again, it's so jarring. It loses its meaning. When BTS promoted Dynamite, they were actually forced to create pre-recorded performances because of COVID, and they managed to create, I think, over 10 different performances of Dynamite, and all of them were great. And if they can do that with one song, it's certainly easier to do it with different songs and multiple performers. Again, this is not to say that all performances in the past BBMAs were bad. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there were more bad performances than there were good performances. And I'm not saying that all those who got an award did not deserve it. I'm just saying that there are more who deserve an award but didn't get it. I would love to hear your thoughts though. Please leave them in the comment section below. I know that many of you are very concerned that your favorite artists didn't get nominated. I know that there were a lot of people. I personally think that I personally think that some of the winners shouldn't have won, and some who didn't win should have won. Okay, I would love to hear your thoughts. Leave them in the comment section below. Please be respectful. You can also get in touch with me in any of the social media links that you see on your screen right now. Please follow me on Twitter. I'm going to soon convert that into an Asian Entertainment Channel Twitter. And I'll keep everything on my IG, anything personal on my IG. And if you ended up liking this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe and hit that notification button so that you know when there's a new video getting published. And share the video if you can. I'm so grateful to all of you. When you see this, it's going to be Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving, even though you come from a country that does not celebrate Thanksgiving. From my heart to yours, happy Thanksgiving. I'm super, super grateful that you are here. Till next time.